Am we live? We're live. Check, check, check. Everything good? Yes, we're live. Looks like we're live recording. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday. We gave a presentation on Tuesday, shared with you what we're doing and how the progress is back in 2025. What a rocky start. I went down to 93,000 a Bitcoin and back up to 103,000, then back down again to 94,000 and sort of hovering around, and largely due to economic data and expectations, anticipations, and weariness in terms of where the economy is really going. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. I guess it's all associated with the inauguration coming on January 20th, where we have a new president running the largest economy in the world and hopefully bringing about some significant changes around deficit management of government, and what will that ripple effect be to the rest of the world and all the other economies out there. So exciting times, nervous times, and it's hitting all of our prices. A lot. So I'll get into a lot of you in the community have been asking about how's Truflation doing? Why are we not performing so well? This is the market. We can't do much. All we're doing is heads down, building as much as we can. We do have market makers helping us with our tokens, helping us with ensuring you have liquidity in the market. And we do have business development skills and marketing. We're constantly posting videos like this. It's up to you to slice and dice and think what you think is valuable. If you are a holder and you want to promote what we're doing and the value of decentralized databases, decentralized real world asset data on chain, as well as decentralized maintenance and governance of index calculations, all of that, and all of which is what we have been building at Truflation. So happy Thursday. I'm back, founder of Laguna Labs, which is the development arm of Truflation and the Truth Network. And we've been helping build out the capability of Truth Network, which is the heart of what we've been working on, leveraging all the work, inherent use cases built out and experienced by developing a CPI and bringing to you the US inflation or Truflation, and then also providing calibration capabilities between Truflation CPI, which is a more modern, more detailed, more granular, more real-time calculation of inflation, and being able to then calibrate that to the old, stale capabilities and methodologies developed by the Fed Reserve. But a lot of people want to see that. Why? Because that's the biggest number that is driving a lot of credit. A lot of loans are tied to that CPI metric. And ultimately, it is acting as the pulse of the economy. That's what we've been doing. And we're just heads down, building and developing this. So that's what we're working on and constantly trying to update that. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to talk to you a bit today. I mentioned on Tuesday I was going to talk to you about agents and what's going on in the agentic world and agentic AI category. I'm also going to, before I do that, obviously talk a bit about inflation and Truflation and what's going on. What I thought was really interesting is there was this one post that went out there that somebody sent to me. And this is exactly why we are so focused on really trying to bring to you an independent source, a news source that actually can talk rationally to a lot of you and not mumbo jumbo like they do. A lot of people are extremely smart in this area where it's a macro individual's dream right now. Macroeconomics is going to be really important as we head into this new trade-oriented tariffs, financial efficiency. All of those elements are going to become important. And this is what Jerome Powell has to say when all of a sudden these super intelligent, hyper intellectual individuals that have missed the boat on a lot of the calculations and a lot of the economic performances and missed the ability to communicate with people. And this is exactly why. So when you watch this hearing conversation with Jerome Powell as he gets asked the question, just listen to this.
For the general public, for those working families and people, why 2%? Why is getting it to 2% so important? So that has become the globally agreed, essentially all major central banks target 2% inflation in one form or another.
How does that help my Nevada families? How does that help people in Nevada?
I'll tell you how it does. And
so the joke is they're just targeting 2%. It's an arbitrary number. Why? They just come up with it's a number. We, the central banks, we people in a closed room in an environment are deciding that this is de facto, it's got to be 2%. But why 2%? There's no rationale behind that other than what he says now.
It's I guess it's obviously not it's not obvious how that is, but what 2% inflation, to have people believe that inflation is going to go back to 2% really anchors inflation there, because the evidence is and the modern belief is that people's expectations about inflation actually have an effect on inflation. If you expect inflation to go up 5%, then it will. If everyone kind of expects that, because that's what businesses and households will be expecting, and it'll kind of happen because they expect it.
So that's his justification as to why inflation needs to go up. People think it's going to be 5% and it will go up there 5%. So ultimately, it's purely psychological. So why do we need a Federal Reserve? Why do we need people to define what interest rates are if the market is defining the price as it is anyway? Today, you can go out onto the market and you can see how yields and interest rates are being traded in the market. And so why do we need a Fed Reserve? One of the curveball anticipations for 2025 that I have, this is my personal opinion, this is that of the team, we don't yet have consensus, everyone thinks I'm crazy, but a curveball idea was that because of Doge and driving efficiency and seeing how the market is actually pricing in interest rates into the bonds without needing a Federal Reserve, is that we get rid of the Federal Reserve. Why do we need a Federal Reserve? We have the Treasury already. We have Treasury, we have Federal Reserve, we have the FDIC, we have all these other entities, four-letter acronyms that are doing so many overlapping responsibilities. And there are reserves in every single, I don't know how many states out there already. So do we really need one? Anyway, that's a food for thought. That's a bit of a curveball. Let's see if it happens. Everybody's going to be criticizing that that's impossible. How can you expect that? Everybody loves Jerome Powell when he goes up on stage. But also, if you look at some of the activity on Polymarket, for example, you can see that actually, he's actually gaining all the attention. That's the amazing thing, right? Nobody really cares about the inflation rates. What they care about is the Fed rates. So ultimately, sort of you look at December inflation, if you look here on Polymarket, take a look. If you have a look on Polymarket here, December inflation, there is only $311,000 worth of bets out there. Chance of a greater than 2.9 inflation rate coming out is 69%. So it gets the highest forecasts. People actually are thinking it going from 2.7 to 2.9. So let's see whether that happens. Have you bet? Have you put any money on this? But either way, what I was getting to is actually inflation metrics come out. They are less relevant. They are not important anymore. People don't really pay that much attention to that. However, when it does come to Fed rate decisions in January, which is on the 29th of January, remember, on the 15th of January, we have the BLS number around inflation. That is the pulse and the heart of an economy. On the 20th of January, we have the inauguration of a new president. On the 29th of January, we have the Fed decision. 41 million. Remember, I was talking about $311,000 going into the inflation prediction, and $41 million worth of bets around Jerome Powell coming on stage and talking whether interest rates are going to go up or down. And it doesn't really matter. Do people pay attention to the interest rates anymore when the market and the bond prices are moving in the market anyway? So anyway, just food for thought. And here again, so 41 million people, $41 million worth of bets around a Fed decision, of which everybody's expecting a 93% chance of no change. I mean, and some of the clients that we've been talking to that are subscribing to the Truflation data, big hedge funds with 20, 30, 40 billion dollars of assets under management, have come back and they're forecasting and predicting and anticipating a one-time change throughout the whole year. So they don't see any more activity really this whole year around movement in the interest rate, except for one instance, which would imply that we're going to see a 25 basis point change some point, somewhere throughout the course of 2025. Anyway, food for thought. But yeah, just interesting. Contrast the 41 million with the 300,000 that we were talking about earlier, 327,000. Yeah, and this is imminent. This is next week. So you'd expect more bets to be in the market around this number. Maybe it's harder to predict. Maybe less people are interested in this, but inflation hurts everybody. You saw the video that we posted last time when we talk about 10 visits to the grocery store every single month. 10 times you're experiencing more expensive milk, more expensive eggs, more expensive steaks, more expensive vegetables, fruit and vegetables, extremely expensive, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that, you're being hit every single day. And we know that groceries are roughly some 15 to 20% of household expenditure. And you can see that on Truflation.com, by the way. So if we go to Truflation.com, let's have a look at our US inflation index. I don't want the aggregate. I just want the US inflation. You can see here, what's the composition right here, right now. It's where are we? Food and beverage. What is food and beverage? 15.3% of household expenditure. And it's been going up. Look, ever since September or July, up. A bit of a correction into run up between September and October, stimulating the economy, trying to win the election. But boom, guess what? It's picked up again and all the way back up. And anyway, food away from home seems to be at the higher stage. But now look at that, food at home up 4.8% in the year, right? So anyway, just food for thought. Wanted to share that with you. Let me know your thoughts. Are you experiencing that? How many times do you go to the grocery store? Tell me. What is that? Is that 10 times as well? Anyway, that was really around that. And one thing, sort of a lot of you have been asking about Truflation. How does that work? What's the Truth Network? We've announced the Truth Network. I know you want to get to the agentic AI spot, but I'm going to grab this attention to keep your awareness around what we're doing. We've been building out the heart of this Truflation and the Truth Network. The Truth Network is the database that Truflation relies on, not only for the verified, accurate data sets and maintaining those and pulling those together from around the world, but also for the governance and the compute of its indexes on a daily basis, which then get presented on the Truflation.com website that I just shared with you. So that's what the Truth Network does. And the data engineering and index engineering that takes place at Truflation.com is sitting on the side over here. So we have done a graph. I'll share this with you. It's pretty complicated. I think I've already shared it with you, but in case you haven't seen it, we're going to simplify this so that you can understand it a lot easier. So Truflation and the Truth Network. There were two other projects building around Truth Network, and there are a couple of others in the pipeline, but I can't share that content with you yet, as I need approval from the counterparts to be able to share what we're working on with those other parties. And once we have the green light and they're happy with sharing it, we will share that. Those are 3 bigger deals that we're working on that hopefully will change things and give the validation and the appreciation of what's happening on the Truth Network back to you. But Index.Fun is one of the projects that we can share right now, and Nuon is one of the projects. And the value add is we've been working alongside these projects since the beginning. We know the teams really well, and they've been building on top of Truth Network, and there will be for Truth staking participants, so people that stake VE or hold VE Truth, there will be a reward and a benefit for doing that and committing to the Truth project early on, before they saw the vision come to reality. And there will be an allocation from Nuon and Index.Fun to the VE Truth holders. So that's what's been working on. And you all know the build program from Chainlink. So there is an element there that we have replicated for the Truth Network, and also in partnership with Chainlink, Nuon is also got some similar elements as it is a build member as well. But index.fun is another project that is separate from that, and you'll see what that's about. But just to give you an insight on what we've been working on and who we're working with, Nuon is a yield-bearing protocol, stablecoin protocol that protects your wealth against inflation. So you are insured. It's an insurance policy that you hold Nuon, that you retain your purchasing power in $1. And it's built up in using smart contracts and using Truflation CPI to know what is inflation and provide you the insurance against Truflation CPI. You are now getting protected against Truflation. And at the same time, where is that protection coming from? It is coming from consistent yields from farms as well as from inflationary correlated assets that are backing the protocol, all on-chain, self-custodial, and managed by smart contracts and new mint holders. So you can read all about it here. And, you know, we were talking about agentic. I don't know if any of you have actually learned, but please go to notebooklm.google.com. And in there, let me share this tab with you. So come to this URL, notebooklm, check this out, learn here. This is an amazing place. And you can see here, I've already uploaded a number of the Truflation light paper. You can learn about it here. You can learn about generative AIs here. You can, untitled notebook, I don't know what that is, but here you've got Nuon V2 white paper. So let's have a look at this. Oh, here's the Nuon V2 white paper. It gives you a quick summary of this. You get an overview. You can ask it questions. It has now read the whole, you have an audio overview. Here you go. It's generating a conversation now. So you can actually listen to an audio breakdown of actually what is in that paper. And you can hear it as a debate or as a podcast between two individuals. And you can choose the language. At the moment, it's only available in English, but that will change. You've got notes here, so you can have a note and an abstract. You can have that abstract. So really fast capability and the ability to listen to what Nuon is about. So you can see all the underlying white paper components summarized through Notebook LM. And we'll go into a bit more what about all these agents out there. But just to run you through quickly what Nuon is and why there is going to be an opportunity for VE Truth holders to participate in the new mint launch coming around the corner. And so, yeah, it's really about rising prices, right? How do we protect you against rising prices? And what is the insurance protocol associated with that? Number one concern among young adults, right? We've had 25% over the last 4 years, because we're just entering into the fifth year. So the last 4 years, a quarter of your purchasing power, whoosh, gone in compound, right? So that's pretty bad. And so what does that mean, right? So yield-bearing, inflation-proof stablecoin. That's what we've been building. Always redeemable, one-to-one to a USDC. And you're not seeing my screen right now. Yeah, sorry. Here you go. This is Nuon. Here's the pitch deck. I'm just giving you a quick rundown of this pitch deck. But here, the solution to rising prices. Here, I talked about the compounding interest, 25% over the last 4 years. Your purchasing power gone, right? So you can only purchase a quarter of the products less had you been holding on to US dollars. And so what are we doing? What is this protocol focused on? It's always redeemable against the USDC, one-to-one. Deposits are held in various yield-bearing assets. So there's a pool of yield-bearing assets, and there's a reserve, which consists of inflation-correlated assets. So in the times when yield is not performing or underperforming inflation, there are always these inflation-correlated assets. How does it all work? Basically, you deposit your USDC and receive Nuon, which you can stake in a vault and earn yield and get new mint to be able to participate in the investment strategies, and which allows you to deploy your funds into any of these farms, yet or allocate the funds into the farm and then receive the rewards for your allocation towards each of the farms. Excess yields are allocated to the reserve vault, and that's where the inflation correlated assets reside. I'm sorry if this is really small, but let me try and blow it up. Can you see that a bit better? Yeah, so that's what that looks like. And ultimately, that then provides yield in the event and the days when CPI cannot be met from the various yield pools. Anyway, that's sort of really what it's built out to do. You can see how it works. So basically, your Nuon receives daily yield, Truflation yield. So you get daily updates, so it compounds. You are immediately experiencing the benefit on a daily basis around the inflation protection that you're getting. So not unlike insurances where you have to fill out a big claim form, you have to submit the claim form, you have to wait for it to be reviewed, and then some 6 months later or 3 months later or 2 months later, after back and forth, you are finally getting some of your money back. In this case, you just automatically get Truflation delivered to your Nuon wallet instantaneously. Your wallet holding Nuon. We do not and will not build a wallet. We will be partnering with wallet providers to ensure that you can get that. But if you hold it on exchange, you're not going to get that benefit. The exchange will get the benefit. So we're working through what that looks like. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you and give you a window into what we've been working on around that. And to that extent, we have a guarded launch coming around the corner, a guarded launch which allows anybody to participate and deposit up to a minimum of $1,000 into a pool that generates 24% APY in month one for everybody. It's a 1-month campaign. It will be available to all participants. VE Truth holders obviously will get a bit of a benefit and get first come, first serve rights. And so that's what we're doing. So hang on, we'll share more with you about that in the next week as we conclude our final audits, as well as we conclude the fixes to the final audits, the final fixes to the audits, sorry, just trying to get a bit more articulate around that. But that'll be something we're working on. The other thing that we've been working on, and I know I've mentioned a lot, was Index.Fund. Index.Fund is now also equally in the final steps of their audit. So Index.Fund has been working heavily to allow you to participate and invest in and bet and predict on indexes. So you can create your own index. So it's super easy. You can come here, create your own index, choose your data streams. What would you like? I'd like a bit of BTC, add that. What else would you like to add? I'd like to add Bitcoin Cash. Let's say I did a proof of work. Where here, actually, I've done one. So here you can see all of those. And then you can look at my indexes. So I need to log in. I'm signed in. Why? Please authenticate. I have to connect. Sorry, I haven't connected my wallet. Oh, I'm confirming here. I want to connect here. I was going through so many sites. So here we go. Now you should be connected. Okay, let's reload here. I'm now connected. So you'll be able to see my wallets. But anyway, so here you can explore all the different indexes that people have created. And you can see the top performing ones up here, moving along, Bigly. What's the Bigly one? It's the Trump index. Let's see. You know, Trump's being inaugurated on January 20th. How's he performing? What's he doing? What's in there? It's, you know, he's got Reality Income Corp, Simon Property Group, Vulcan Materials. Look at all the different investments he's got. This is not crypto investments. This is all his other investments. Look at that. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, etc. So hedging a number of different investments, but it seems as though Vulcan Materials Company seems to be one of his bigger portfolios. Anyway, and you can bet on will that go up tomorrow or not, right? And so you can bet up to $10, place the bet, and you can see up bets and down bets. So everything, if you're familiar with prediction markets, you'll be able to experience it here. The beauty of this is the bigger the volume of a given index, the greater the likelihood of it being listed as and on a perp dex so that you can trade for perpetuals into the future, predicting where the outcome will be and just holding on as it moves up and down. So yeah, I got to confirm the transaction request. So that's all coming through, coming to you. And what is the benefit of this? A token associated with index.fun will be a participant in the various rewards generated by the protocol. And so there will be shares or benefits going to the index.fund token holders from generated by the protocol, and the distribution of those indexes onto third-party markets. And there's an announcement coming, two announcements coming out that the team have been working on that I've been privileged to find out about. I'll let them talk about it a bit more as they're ready and as they formulate. But more importantly, again, there is a component of those tokens that will be made available to VE Truth holders. So if you are in the Truth ecosystem, we want to reward all of you being a part of the Truth ecosystem. And anybody building, we will work to make sure that you can benefit from the development on top of the RWA data sets that sit on the Truth network and the indexes that are created and distributed via the Truth.network. So that's really what we're focusing on. Again, they've put a pitch deck together so you can see index creation, once a playground for the elite, now a sandbox for everyone. People are looking for different ways to trade. They want different indexes. They want to participate. You can see the movement in Polymarket, Parcel, where I can trade synthetic assets. And Peter Levels, who actually built the deadlift index, now outperforming the S&P 500 significantly. Now you can trade that. You can actually buy that as a synthetic perpetual on multiple exchanges. Not quite yet, but very soon. Yeah, so you can learn all about it. Why you can see mimetic assets growing significantly. People are looking for alternative trading capabilities as well as thematic indexes with some 800 billion AUM. You can now participate in asset classes like that. Why is that possible now? Why is now the time? Thanks to the Truth Network, we actually have all of this data on chain. This wasn't available before. All of this data wasn't available. You couldn't find it. You couldn't discover that. And now you have it available there. And so what does index.fund do? You can see you can create in minutes. You can then actually immediately trade it. So you saw the betting capability. And then once it's tradable and as a prediction on the prediction markets, you can then trade it on exchanges. So you can go to overlay where there is already available the ability to trade indexes, and more of those will be from index.fund. Creators participate in index successes. So you, by creating an index and its success, will also generate rewards associated with that. So there's a lot of interesting I hear a number of partners that have been working with the index.fund team, how it works, tokenomics, etc. So stay tuned on that, and hopefully that gives you a bit more insight and some of the benefits of being with the Truflation and the Truth Network, right? We've been working really hard and we're just heads down. We've got to be builders. We can't worry about the day-to-day movements and fluctuations that we can't control. The market controls it. And if the market doesn't give us the appreciation, then there's nothing much we can do. But we know that at some point the market will turn, because what's happening is there are new rails in the development today that are going to rely on new sources of data tomorrow. And Truflation and the Truth Network are providing you with the indexes and the data sets that are available on Truth Network. Index.fund is someone else that is also providing you with additional indexes. And why is this so important? One thing we're realizing is that the technology that blockchain provides, the decentralization of these data sets, is putting the power of that data into these node networks and these node operators. The node operators are achieving consensus associated with the data sets, are defending those data sets, are ensuring and defending the governance based on the methodology defined in the white paper, are defending that methodology and ensuring the accuracy being delivered to tokenized assets around the world. That's the beauty. That's why we're here building what we're doing. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. And that's the future. You know, today we're still working on the old rails. Visa is still running around COBOL, you know, trying to build COBOL based, you know, find a developer who can code in COBOL. There's nobody left out there. And guess what? These mainframes that are running and serving the CME, do you think that's going to be the same way in the future? Do you think that in 5 years' time, we're still going to be heavily dependent on the CME and we won't be working on Uniswap? We won't be working on SushiSwap. We won't be having all these new exchanges that are going to be enabling the JoJos of the world, the overlays of the world, the trade, the drifts, the hyper liquids, et cetera, all of them are developing and building out new exchanges, leveraging new data sources from multiple different sources that are proving and acting as that independent source of truth from multiple different providers that are continuously defending the accuracy of the data, verification of that data, and ensuring the governance associated with the calculations using that data. And that's the beauty of what's being built on blockchain. And those are going to be a whole new set of rails that's going to drive a momentous change of trillions and hundreds of trillions of dollars from TradFi into DeFi. And why do you think the banks are struggling to get their head around this migration and this change? They don't want the change. Of course they don't want the change. They want to control the change. They want to control the change on their rails. So what we're trying to do is ensure that there are new rails and they can work and operate on those new rails, but under different circumstances. So that's the exciting bit that we've been working on. And, yeah, so, the other thing is obviously in our network, we talk a lot about Truflation, the Truth Network, right? What's Truflation been up? And so we've been working, again, another step is really trying to develop the capabilities around Truflation. What is Truflation up to? So here you can see, we've actually summarized Truflation and the clients it's working with. So here's a fact sheet that's been put together with some of the metrics. And I think the big summary is here, what is the value of a Truflation CPI and what do customers get as a benefit of working with Truflation, subscribing to their data, or even working with Truflation on the prediction support of their analytics team, right? We work with family offices, with macro portfolio managers, etc. And what do? I mean, I think the big thing that we summarize is right here, right? Let me zoom in a bit because I'm sure this is super tiny for you guys. It is for me too, but yeah, we're just trying to get you some visibility. But here, I'm not sure if you can see here, but can I zoom in even more? Let's see. No, 200% seems to be the max. But let me get rid of this and see. No, it doesn't change anything. But either way, here you can see, our forecasts and what and how we've improved the forecasting as we better understand the BLS. You can see the BLS numbers. You can see the Truflation forecasting. This is not the Truflation CPI. This is the Truflation calibration of our data sets to that of the CPI. And we've gone from a 0.14 deviation to a 0.007 deviation. We've been getting better. We're getting better. The systems are getting more accurate and we're computing a lot better. And so that's super excited, right? So here we have been able to accurately predict 5 out of the last 7 spot on, with the average deviation decreasing from 0.14 in 23 to 0.07 in 2024. So 50% improvement. That's pretty interesting. You can do the maths here. Rodrigo's done the maths for us. So pretty impressive. I think so myself. Obviously, I'm biased, but let me know what you think. We'll make this available as a downloadable item from the website so you can share it around to your community of interested parties that might be interested. And really thanks and a shout out to one of our community members. I don't know if I should name him, but he's been super supportive and introduced us to a number of his hedge fund clients who are now interested in learning a bit more about Truflation. So for us, it's now let's use 2025 as the means to get the word out. And if we're focusing on Truflation CPI as a modern means of being able to calculate inflation and seeing how that has benefit and value add over that of the old methodology using stale data, manual labor, as well as once a month calculation, you can see the contrast. You have a 45-day lead time over that of the BLS. So you can actually benefit 45 days ahead of any significant shift in the market. And that's the benefit of a real-time, daily, updated inflation metric. And where does mid-inflation or Truflation get its data from? From 60 plus different sources in real time, just for the US market, bear in mind. That's just the US market, with over 30 million data points, with over 3 providers of data price points per item that we track. So 30 million times 3, that's 90 million 90 million sources of data for each of the items that then get composed into these 12 subcategories, which then lead up to the headline Truflation CPI. So yeah, just a long story. I'm repeating myself over and over again, but that's mainly because I really appreciate the support from our community. And at the same time, what can we do to really improve it and drive better activity around this? But that's really what the Truflation team have really been working on, the data team, as well as our teams on the development side, the research side, as well as the marketing side. So yeah, just doing that. And of course, guess what? Next week, we have an announcement. We have the December inflation update, right? 15th of January, as I mentioned before. And guess what? Here's already Oliver and his team, Ivan, have been working on bringing to you the latest updates. So this is a longer report for everybody to read. This is draft. I'm flying through this because I don't want anybody to actually read it. But we have a forecast. Stay tuned to our spaces next Tuesday to find out what the forecast will be. Actually, next Tuesday on YouTube, I'll bring Oliver. Let me know. Do you want to hear from Oliver and let him walk you through his presentation, not the Word document, but ultimately the presentation, and give you feedback? And you can ask interactively in real time on the YouTube stream what you think, what you would like to hear, and ask him questions directly. If not, raise your hand on X and we can figure out how we get those responses in to you through the channel. But I will work with Oliver. It will have to be pre-recorded ultimately because he's on a different time zone right now. Actually, no, he's going to be anyway. Yeah. So we'll work something out and we'll make sure that I bring him onto the channel. I'm also going to bring on the project leads for the protocols that we mentioned, index.fun, as well as Nuon. So you're going to hear from them directly, the horse's mouth, over the course of the next 2 weeks. So you won't just be hearing from me all the time. You'll actually be hearing from some of the project leads on what's going on those specific projects and their protocols that they're working on. Yeah, thank you, Yuda. I'm looking at the comments on YouTube. Thanks. We're keeping up the great work. We're just heads down building, and the market will at some point realize that we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere, and we are going to reward our community leads and community participants in all of what we're doing. Yeah, bro, index fund requiring truth is bullish as fuck. Thank you. Edit name. Thank you. That's a good one. When onboarding KOLs to make indexes, Murad would be perfect. Yeah. So if you see, I think Murad has an index on there. If I am not miscorrected. Yeah, but ultimately, oh, he did have an index. So I know, yeah, Murad's meme index. Check it out. I don't know if he's had his name tagged to this, but yeah, so he's got GigaChad at 12.5, all sort of simply simple allocations. But yeah, really interesting here. But one thing that you can do is in your indexes, maybe we should ask Murad to connect his X to the wallet address. So then, some people may not want to do this, others can, but you can then just go to X. Oh, I think there's a bug there. They're finalizing their development. So I'm showing it to you a bit. Oh, I didn't even show it to you. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Where was it? Index stuff on. Yeah, you guys are asking, so that's why I'm just engaging with your questions. So hope you bear with me here. But I think one of the things here that you can see, I will just share my screen. Here we go. Share screen, index, stop fun, bang. And here you can see explore indexes. You can highlight here. Where was Murad? I saw him earlier. Oh, it's gone. Where did he go? He was just here. There he goes. Murad meme index. So here you can see his index. You can see all the different elements in there. SPX 6900, as we all know, that's his favorite token. He sees more energy in that than anywhere else. Maybe we should have a DeFi, decentralized finance AI, or index in there. But you can see my indexes. I've created some indexes on here. I'm sharing my screen now. You can see that. But here, the element here is I can have my wallet associated with there, and I can connect my Twitter X to this account. Sorry, let's call it X. And through the X, I think the request token for this page is invalid. And so anyway, we'll have to, it's too old, it's expired. So we got to refresh that, or they have to refresh that. We'll give them a heads up that that's got to be done. And I know they're working on it because I already shared that this morning when I demoed this. But yeah, so you can connect your unique account to that and find that out. And that's how Peter Levels did that with his deadlift index. So ultimately here, you can come to the deadlift index and predict its simple basic averages across the predictions. You can then come on here and you can then again compare it to SPX 500. How's it performing? Ooh, he's up again against, oh no, deadlift index is just recently underperforming. Why is that? Let's look at the 1 year average. Oh, look, it's been performing way better in the past, and then all of a sudden it's changed. Anyway, play around with it. Please tell us what you think. And we can pass it on to the team. Follow index.fun on Twitter, Telegram. Yeah, here you can find their Telegram and their Twitter down in the bottom right corner, down here. And yes, let me know what you think. And let them know what you think about that, and let us know if you would like to meet the team and how we can get you introduced into more insights and get them to capture your feedback on what they should be developing and how they can develop it further. Yeah, so that was really around what we've been working on at Truflation and Truth Network, and really getting that going. And ultimately just wanted to share with you a lot of, the sort of work that's going on and the activity there. Obviously, a lot of you have been asking about what has been going on, in the agent world, right? A lot of you have been asking, did Muran make that nice? Yeah, he did the index. I'm not sure if that's his. And if he actually participated in that, or whether one of the team members actually just took his tweet and then created that index. But we should ask him if he can support it and be a part of it. That's the whole idea, at least. Any update from Charles Hopkinson meeting? Yeah, we are going to have a call with them and the team around RealFi. And we are waiting for a date. It was quiet during the holidays period, but he and I had been chatting over Twitter, and we are trying to find a date when we can get on a call between all the different parties, the RealFi team, the Truflation team, and the Cardano team. So that's coming together. We'll give you and keep you updated on that. But yeah, Balaji can present the technology to the world and to Elon in a tweet and he does not do it. Could you ask him? Alfredo Rialp. Sure, yeah, I can ask him. I'll reach out to him and see what they can do. I can also try and see how the other members are going to be able to elevate this and put this in front of more people. And get this going. I think one of the other things that we've been talking about is how can we track sentiment, right? We've been talking about consumer sentiment insights, being able to track the sentiment across different social media platforms. How do we convert that into a sentiment analysis that then using AI and then be able to then translate that into an index that people can trade on different platforms. And we've been talking to different platforms about doing that. We did that with the consumer sentiment index. But there are lots of other ideas that these platforms have been having and been trying to get us to work with them to help them scale and add a level of expertise. What's that? I can't read that. Alguna opinión sobre el precio del truf. I don't have translate on here, but yeah, I would love to understand what that means. It was retracted. Sorry about that. Yeah, so that's sort of what we've been going on. You know, one of the things that a lot of you've been asking about is agents, right? Are agents for real? Is this a real business? Is this really a movement? Yeah, I can't comment on price, man. It's like, let's just say I'm heavily committed. I am heavily vested, and so I am just going to continue to build and make sure that people begin to appreciate the value of what we've been working on. And right now, all the attention seems to be going to AI or the big layer ones. That will change. We are at the beginning, not quite the beginning of a bull market, but the bull market is definitely not over. I'm convinced of that. And we're just going through what do they call it? A bear bounce or a bear scare, where the big whales, and these are now big whales, right? From the likes of BlackRock, Fidelity, VanEck, all of these bigger mega whales are trying to unlock and force liquidations onto the smaller retail holders. So don't get liquidated, hold on to your tokens, because at some point there's only one way that is going to get them to buy additional tokens and meet the demand in the market. And that's to have to buy it on exchanges. And that's when we'll see price movements happen. That's what we want. And that will happen. So we just got to stay building, provide value, and prove to the market that these are the new rails. And whoever's building these new rails, whoever's got data on those new rails, whoever is got compute associated with those new rails and has the data and providing accurate, reliable sources of information for exchanges to be working with, and has a detailed and partner network working together with some of the biggest providers of Oracle services in the market, you know, those are going to actually be rewarded at some point. And so that's what we think, and that's what our vision is. And I hope you support that and continue to stay engaged. That's, you know, all I can ask. And we're trying to be as transparent as we can, and we hope that you accept the truth. And that's what we're bringing to you. Yeah, on that note, you know, I wanted to come to agents and talk to you about agents right at the beginning. But I don't know if you've been seeing what has been taking place at CES and NVIDIA. NVIDIA has built its own computer. You now have an AI agent in that computer helping you all along the way. So you're not anymore using a keyboard. Maybe you still are. You still have a keyboard. Obviously, I think we are having our DNA the need for using a keyboard and a mouse. But at the same time, you can actually just talk to the agent and ask them questions. There was somebody that put that out there. I sort of lost the Twitter thread. No. Oh, whoa, something's coming up. People are wanting a meeting. Who is this? Sorry about that. Whoa, yeah, I've got to get ready for my next cast. Sorry. But one thing I would ask, there's a really, basically, what are AI agents, and are they real? Yes, they are real, right? And there's a lot happening around it. And this is one graph that really illustrates it. It is complex. It is not easy. So really leverage the tools that are out there to get a better understanding of this. I know everybody says it's a bull market, just ape in there. You have no time to do the research, just go, because everything's going to go up. But obviously, as we're seeing, not everything goes up. So do the research and find the right kind of projects in the AI space. I mean, you all know it better than I do, how much is actually going on in the AI space. And, here was the NVIDIA activity that I shared earlier, right? Shocked here, you can actually...
Great, thanks for asking.
What can you do for
So,
Hey R2X, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks for asking.
What can you do for me on my PC? Hey R2X.
So that's R2X, right? So they're agents.
Project R2X, an RTX-powered digital human interface for developers and enthusiasts building AI agents.
So digital interface, right? So you can use the agent to help you build AI capabilities, right?
Place the jacket in this photo.
In Photoshop, use the generative fill feature. First, select the jacket with the selection tool. Then, click on generative fill in the contextual taskbar. Describe the replacement you'd like, and Photoshop will generate options for you.
Boom.
How do I use generative AI?
I mean, just the whole interface and the way we interact with computers are going to be changing, right? And you can see, here, put in a complex...
Could I share an insurance policy with you?
Sure, please go ahead and share it. I've got the insurance policy open. How can I assist you with it?
Great. I had some snow melt on my roof that caused a leak. Does my insurance policy cover that?
Your policy includes coverage for damage caused by snowmelt.
Could I share an...
So ultimately, you can watch this video, but it goes on and on. It recognizes images, and it just can help you, help you find the nearest Starbucks. And I think that's what's really practical about agents. All of a sudden, you have an underlying model. And that's the core element, right? Those are the models that you're seeing, these big, large LLM models that are providing the ability to sort of make and help with decision makings. They're taking the instruction-based reasoning. They're doing the thinking, and they have the brains, and they've now aggregated billions of brain power on chain into their models, right? So think of it like that. The tools, right? What are the tools here on the side? You can see these tools that are out there. Oops, I'm sharing the wrong tool here, these tools. So coming back to here, right? So here you have the agent, and the agent has a number of elements in there, right? One is it leverages and works with a model, and the model is the LM, or the language model. It's maybe an LLM or an LM, but basically it's leveraging like the Chat GPTs, the Metas, the Groks of the world, as it really tries to learn and use decision-making capabilities. The tools, this is what bridges it into like the Starbucks, into recognizing images, right? This is what enables the interactions with external data and other services, right? Work with Photoshop to be able to connect this and change the jacket. So all of that is coming out of the tool section. And the complexity and really the uniqueness of an agent is really this orchestration layer. What happens in there, right? Here, this is where it sort of takes in the information and then puts the actions together based on the previous selections. This is where the learning happens. This is where the customization element takes place when you interact with these agents, right? And so this has different frameworks and guidelines and tools. But ultimately, this is all of the agent's activities, and this is how it interacts with the user. There's a really good paper out there that I implore you to look at. And it is, where can I find it? I downloaded it here for you guys. It is called Agents. I mean, it's super easy. It's called Agents, and I'm pretty sure I downloaded and installed it. Sorry, I must have lost it. Here, file, open. Yeah, anyway, I can't find it right now. Actually, maybe, no, I don't have it. But yeah, anyway, it's called Agents. It's by, do a Google search, Agents Google. But it is complex. It's not an easy topic, right? It is definitely a lot more. Okay, maybe we need to search Google Agents white paper. Google Agents AI white paper. I need to put it a bit more. And when I search, by the way, I'm using AI. I use Perplexity. Yeah, so here, oh man, take action, decide video, a short ad. I don't want to see an ad. Oh, fuck. Excuse me, excuse my language. I'm not going to look at that. But anyway, what I did here is what you can see is I just took that paper and here it is. I created the generative AI. So here's the new white paper for agents. So you can see the author, the acknowledgement, etc. Actually, I downloaded the white paper, so it should be somewhere around here. Where did I find that? But anyway, you can load it up again into this LM client, Notebook LM. So you go to Notebook LM. I have the generative AI agents, architecture tools, and applications. And I have created and uploaded this and created a
Hey
podcast.
everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into generative AI agents.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, these aren't just, your typical AI that we hear about all the time.
Right.
We're talking about applications that can actually reason
Wow.
and learn and interact with the real world.
Okay.
So we're going to be breaking down a brand new white paper from some of the top minds at Google AI.
Nice, Google AI.
Yeah.
So there you go, Google AI. Google's back. It's definitely back with a vengeance. Super aggressive. Lots of activity coming out of there, trying to fix up some of the historical mishaps that they went through. I mean, if that's a nice way to put it. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So that's really the element that we've been building and not building, but trying to share with you. So it is real, it is happening. And again, I mean, NVIDIA just seems to be everywhere right now as well, right? So they're really pushing hard into this segment with amazing leads. So, right, I talked to you about what they're doing with RXP and their agent, but look what they're doing here at CES. I mean, they're going to be a gaming developer conference. Anybody go to GDC? GDC is the biggest game conference where a lot of the creative developers go to and show their gamification ideas and their development skills, and they show off how they can really leverage compute power to do some active development. But here, NVIDIA just dropped ACE. So remember we talked about RX2 just earlier. Now we're talking about ACE. So they're just going on a tear. They're going everywhere, right? R2X project. Sorry, not RX2. Sorry, somebody's correcting me here. So R2X, now look at ACE, right? So R2X, they talked about their agent. They've got a computer. They've got their own computer with their agent in it. And now here, they got ACE, right? So AI is then helping them create characters inside games that are learning and evolving and actually adapting and interacting in real time, right? AI PUBG teammate is like a real player. So you have a teammate there. AI boss with so you can check this out. Check out Minchoy, got lots of good insights and really good posts. Not like one of, here are the 5 things that this guy did. He made a lot of money. Check out the 5 threads, right? But it's actually really interesting interactive threads. So check that out. Really cool and nice posts. But ultimately, NVIDIA is really on fire is what I'm trying to say, basically. And I think the other big thing is, I don't know if you've gone to cookie.fun. Check out cookie.fun and learn about the agents up here. 990 agents tracked. These are agents on chain with their tokens from AI16Z. And you can see, all the graphs, all the charts, etc. What's Fartcoin is even up there. Virtuals. And you've seen virtuals. Have you seen virtuals? Man, this is a protocol where you can create your own. This space is moving so fast. Virtuals.io. You can interact with the environment, you can create your own AI, and it can check out our stack, right? So, I mean, take a look. Those are two sites that I would go to: cookie.fun, virtuals.io, echoes.fun is another one, and tophat.one. Crazy amount of innovation taking place in this space, rapidly fast. It is super scary because you have no idea which ones are going to last and be around. But on that note, I really have to run. I hope that was a good insight. It was a detailed presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. Please follow us. Stay tuned. You can participate in a lot of the ecosystem that's building around the Truth Network and a lot of our partners that we're working with to help distribute a lot of the projects and insights that are working on the Truth Network. So stay tuned. Thank you very much. Sorry, I really have to go. I'm 1 minute late, and it's for marketing with a BitLayer. Check us out. Actually, follow BitLayer. I think I'm on a podcast over there coming soon. Thank you, everybody. Enjoyed. Hope you like this. Thank you. And I am going to leave the studio now. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you on Tuesday with Oliver, and we will share with you the inflation update for January 15th. Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.